Talking Shirts is presented in partnership with White Oak Cottage. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk. Hello and welcome to episode number 121 of Talking Shirts. I'm Mike from Hull Car Shirts, and today we're going to take a look at this 2024 home shirt. Now, this 2024 home shirt, as you can see from this beautiful chest embroidery, it was actually a debut shirt that was worn by Ben Reynolds on his Hull KR debut on the 5th of April 2024. Ben's debut, it came against the London Broncos off the interchange bench at Craven Park. And most people, might be surprised why I would want a Ben Reynolds shirt. It didn't exactly turn out too good for him in the east of Hull. Just 2 games before a loan move to Hull FC. But the fact that it had this wonderful chest embroidery, the fact that I can prove it to a known game, is very appealing to me as a shirt collector. Primarily, it's about the shirts for me, and it's ensuring that I've got a representation of each shirt, and if there's any sort of uniquities that come with that, then that is something that is really appealing to me. And having a debut shirt with chest embroidery is something which really ticks many different boxes within the Hull KR Shirts collection. Now, obviously, Ben didn't think enough of his time in East Hull that he wanted to keep the shirt or take it with him. And obviously, I was quite fortunate enough to be able to add this into my collection. So let's take a little bit of a deep dive. So yeah, the 2024 home shirt, for me, it's a sensational shirt. It's one that I am really, really going to miss as we head into the 2025 season. I'm a big lover of this design. Obviously, we've got the all white shirt with a big broad red band going through the middle. Either side of that, we have got 2 thinner bands, one that tops it and one that just goes underneath there, just to kind of break up the white a little bit. The sleeves are red, and we have got this wonderful Robin Icon dye sublimation technique. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the sleeve. All of the sponsors on the front of the shirt, in the upper half of the shirt, should I say, they've been dye sublimated in red, and then we have got Connexen, which has been dye sublimated on white within the red band. Once again, I do it every year, but just a shout out, IRS, Aspire Academy, Oxen, Connexen, everybody, just thank you so much for allowing the designers to change your natural colourways to the colours that just blend in with the shirt and just add to that aesthetic appeal. We've had it now probably every year since sort of 2022, I think it was. It adds so much to the design element when you're able to kind of not be distracted by a sponsor that just looks ugly on the front of a shirt. I'm sure that we would all prefer it if there weren't as many sponsors on a shirt, and maybe one day that will come back into our lives. But as it is at this moment in time, this is kind of what we've got, and I think that Hull KR and their brand partners do a fantastic job in delivering us some excellent looking shirts where the sponsors, they don't stand out too much. As we would grow to expect now, we have got this big giant rubber patch X on the front with the Oxen logo. That's been sort of heat applied to the shirt, these gel grip patches. That's just to form a little bit of sort of safety grip for the players when the ball is receiving in the chest. As I mentioned at the start, we have got this chest embroidery. Ben Reynolds, Hull KR debut, Hull KR versus London Broncos, Sewell Group Craven Park on the 5th of April 2024. So yeah, that's been sort of embroidered into the shirt in red cotton. There is actually a loose strand here, which, I was tempted to cut it off, but I quite like it. Anything like that. Honestly, I know that there's obviously the... we've got the embroidery, which is kind of a good technique of being able to identify a shirt, but that cotton there in a different area could help me locate a shirt that was worn in a specific match based on just something as simple as a loose string or thread. I am going to do a video based on sort of photo matching, and there is a little bit of that included in that. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that landing anytime soon. So yeah, we've kind of talked our way around the front. We've got this mark here, which will be from the game. There is a picture of Ben wearing this shirt with the chest embroidery on, so I will include that within the video at some point, so you can kind of have a little look at that. But yeah, I absolutely loved this design. So as we go around to the sleeve here, we take a look at the left as wearing. So we've got University of Hull. In 2024, their branding was actually dye sublimated into the shirt. You may remember in 2023, it was actually heat applied in the lower position, which is occupied by Keepmoat in this agreement. Their branding has actually been heat applied, which, because these have been heat applied, it's another way of being able to identify what shirt was worn in which game because of the positioning. The Robin icons on here really help us out with that, because obviously the icons don't move, but the heat applied patch potentially does wherever it was placed on a shirt. It's not going to be in the exact same place on every shirt, because it's just a case of laying it flat and plopping it on. There's always going to be that little bit of human error in terms of alignment. Obviously on this occasion I didn't actually need to use that, but there will be other occasions where I have used that to help me identify a shirt being worn in a known game. But yeah, these red sleeves, the sublimated Robin icon, which is just in a slightly lighter tone of red, you don't really see it until you get quite close up. When you're in the stands, they probably just look like the red sleeves. But when you get them in your hands and when you look, obviously it was the same on the replica. Sleeve design has been so good. The things that we've been able to do, during our time with Oxen has been absolutely brilliant. I really, really loved what we did with the icon taping on the 2023 home shirt, and obviously we've got it on here as well. And then even back in 2017 when we had X-Blades and we had the crowns sort of underneath the armpit space there, absolutely brilliant. I really like it when we're able to sort of try innovative ways of showing design across the sleeves. I think it's a really good way of sort of changing and adapting what we've come to know and kind of putting a little bit of a different twist on it. Obviously these sleeves are finished with these really nice white cuffs, which does just break up those red sleeves and blends in very, very nicely with the entire white body. Won't talk too much about this sleeve. Obviously, same again, we have got the Robin icons which have been dye sublimated in. We've got RFS, Richardson Food and Safety Consulting Limited. Mark's obviously sponsored again during the 2024 season. So his branding does a feature across the home, the marble and the electric pink kits for the 2024 season. And then we've also got this Betfred Super League patch underneath here as well. As I've said, this shirt was only worn once. Obviously it was a debut shirt. So there's not actually been any work done to this. It is literally just one patch. It's pretty clean. There's no damage. There's no layover. There's no ghosting or anything underneath that. It's just exactly as you would expect. So that's everything for part 1 of episode number 121 of Talking Shirts. We'll have a quick word about Ben Reynolds and talk about the back of the shirt. But before we do, here is a quick word from our sponsor.
White Oak Cottage is a 2-bedroom luxury holiday cottage set in the stunning Lincolnshire Wolds. It has 2 ensuite bedrooms, a hot tub, wood burner, Wi-Fi, electric vehicle charger, and is pet friendly. It is ideally situated in the Wolds, yet only 15 miles from the coast and 25 miles from the historic city of Lincoln. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Welcome back to episode number 121 of Talking Shirts. Before the break, we was talking our way around Ben Reynolds' 2024 debut Hull KR home shirt, and now we are back with the reverse. So, yeah, the back of the shirt. It's an all-white affair. None of the sort of red sort of design elements of the band or anything continue on the reverse of this one. It was the same on the replica. We have seen it in the past where a red band does partially continue around the back of a kit, but then obviously it needs to break up for the number. Obviously, in this occasion, we've gone for red numbers on a white shirt. It's so much easier just to not bother have that band going all the way around. That way then, if a supporter would like to have a player's name or number, or even their own name and number, applied to a back of a shirt, there is no sort of restriction for that. Because if you're trying to apply a red number over a red band, it doesn't look pretty. It really doesn't. It's such an obstructive element. So by having the back plain is probably the best way to do that in the modern era, with us having names and numbers on the back of plain shirts. Literally everything that you can see that's on the back of this shirt, other than the main body of the shirt, is in red. So we've got this Robin icon, which has been applied just underneath the collar spot. Obviously we saw its debut up there in 2022. It did actually drop into the actual sort of collar side of things, where it has just dropped a little bit lower now onto the back of the shirt for this 2024 season. It was also the same for the 2023 season as well. We've got Harrison Solway, appears solid in red. So once again, Harrison Solway, thank you very much. Hiya base, in solid red, it just adds to the aesthetics of the shirt. You know, if this was in sort of a different colour, Harrison Solway is obviously purple, and sort of a grey slate colour. If that actually appeared on the back of there, it would stand out like a sore thumb. They would probably absolutely love it, but it would really take away from the actual design aesthetics of the shirt. So yeah, thank you so much. You know, a very sort of kind support to Harrison Solway to Hull KR shirts. They did reach out not so long back, and I did buy a couple of shirts off them with the money going to the Hull KR Foundation. So yeah, it's really good to see sort of sponsors working alongside Hull KR shirts as well. So yeah, Lauren, thank you very much for reaching out and getting in touch about that one. Yeah, Reynolds and the squad number 18. So these have been heat applied to the back of the shirt as we would always expect them to be. Sort of interesting things about this one. So squad number 18 was actually kept free at the start of the 2024 season. It's quite highly believed that that squad number was going to be allocated to Jordan Abdul for the 2024 season before he departed on loan to the Catalan Dragons before leaving sort of early out of his contract to join Hull FC for 2025. So it might be quite sort of comical that Ben Reynolds also joined Hull FC during this 2024 season. He spent 5 games on loan there during this season before actually having his contract and his loan terminated at Hull FC in July for him to pursue another opportunity back at Featherstone Rovers, which is where Ben came from when he joined Hull KR. Ben won the Challenge Cup in 2023 with the Lee Leopards, obviously against Hull KR. And you know, he came into the club with sort of a bit of a niggly reputation, shall we say. But we was in need of a half, we was in need of a kicker. But obviously, you know, things just didn't work out for Ben in red and white. We have a new name and number style for the 2024 season. Each of the letters kind of appears in sort of a Comic Sans styled sort of font, shall we say, and then there is an outline to each of those letters and also the numbers as well. The numbers has a very NRL feel to it. If you've seen a number on the back of an NRL shirt, it does look very similar to that. I don't mind it so much on the number. I think you kind of get away with it, but I think for the letters, for me, there's just a little bit too much going on. I think they would probably look a lot better if they didn't have the outline around each letter. You know, we've had it for a year now. I'm still not really feeling it. Obviously, as we head into the 2025 season, you know, we are keeping this font for at least another year. So obviously, we'll see what happens sort of beyond that in 2026, obviously, and beyond. We've got the Super League logo, the numbers. We've seen that on previous occasions quite a few times now. You know, something that we've spoken about quite a few times on episodes of Talking Jets. So yeah, just another way of getting the Super League branding out on photography and on video footage and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of been your tour around this 2024 Ben Reynolds debut home shirt. It's the first time we've covered a match-worn version of a shirt from the 2024 season, and I'm hopeful to be able to bring you some more. I don't know if you can see on the rail there, we've got a few to choose from, which is always nice as we sort of head out of a season and into a new one. I hope you've enjoyed watching this episode. If you're up to episode number 121, kind of must be doing sort of something right, because yeah, people do keep watching, which is lovely. I do this for an audience of one, so you know, if nobody watches, I'm not particularly bothered. But anybody that does, I really do appreciate your support. It really does go a long way. Thank you very much. I'll be back in another couple of weeks where we're going to take a look at an alternative shirt from 2022 that was worn by Man of Steel, Mikey Lewis. All the best. Speak soon. Bye for now.